Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I wanted to come into drboycetv.com to show you guys something that was on my mind today. I thought that this might be an opportunity to have an intelligent conversation amongst intelligent Black people. So, in case you don't know, drboycetv.com is the home for intelligent Black people. So, if you're not Black and intelligent, you probably want to get out. This is not the place for you. So let me kind of break some stuff in real quick. I saw some stuff that really got my attention, and I wanted to challenge your thinking a little bit in terms of entertainment. And basically, I have a theory. My theory is that Black people are really, really heavily influenced by entertainment. And also, unfortunately, that makes you into a white supremacist. And why does that make you into a white supremacist? Well, because entertainment is controlled pretty much by white people. So whatever white people put in front of you, whatever they dangle in front of you like dogs, you're salivating over whatever they dangle in front of you. That's where you get your heroes. That's where you get all the people that you look up to. For example, today is Malcolm X Day, and you're not really seeing a lot of conversation in mainstream media about the fact that it's Malcolm X Day. However, if it were, Barack Obama's birthday, you would probably see a lot of conversation about that. If it were Mary J. Blige's birthday or something, right? You might hear about that. But Malcolm X kind of gets left off the radar screen because he did something that is not very popular amongst sort of mainstream Black people, which is to challenge white folks. Now, anyway, do me a favor, guys. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me and see me? Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me and see me. And also put in your hashtag B1 on this platform. We put Black people first. So if you agree that Black people should come first, if you agree that our community matters more than any other community to you, then put hashtag B1 in the chat. Hashtag B1 is kind of our calling card to remind us of who we are, what we believe in. Also, hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. And I want to let you guys know also that in 2 days, we have Black Movie Night. Black Movie Night is on the 21st. We're going to watch the film Resurrecting Black Wall Street, The Blueprint. And you can register for free at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. It's really, really fun. There are thousands of us that get together, and we're building a Black movie industry. So it's very important. All right. So anyway, all right. So in terms of Malcolm, I think that's one little symptom of kind of our collective mental illness. But let me show you. I was just kind of thinking about this as I was going through and looking at some of the major Black websites. And I went to thegrio.com. And no disrespect to the griot, but I got to tell it like it is. Let me break this down. So look at the griot, right? And this really is I want you to kind of process for a moment Black people's obsession with celebrities. The fact that if white people ordain you and make you famous by putting you on TV, then we worship you like a god. So it starts off here with Michael Jordan's documentary, The Last Dance. Michael Jordan's fine. I mean, he is who he is. He's a great basketball player. But remember, if white people had not put him on TV, you wouldn't know who he is. If a white man, Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf, had not signed him to a contract, you wouldn't know who he is. If ESPN was not airing this documentary, which is owned by white people, you wouldn't know anything about this. So we're celebrating what white people put in front of us. We salivate like dogs over what they throw in front of us. Beyonce and the Lion King. Now, I want you to look at this image here. You've got Beyonce, a great talent. This is not anti-Beyonce at all, but again, fitting the tradition. Most Black people who become successful in America are either singers, dancers, rappers, or basketball players or football players. If they're and I want you to go down or politicians for the Democratic Party. Those tend to be the 4 or 5 areas that you're allowed to excel in. You can't. I bet you can't name for me. Most of you can't name one single Black female lawyer. You can't name a single Black woman that's on the Supreme Court, or you can't name a single Black. I bet you can't name like your favorite Black engineer. Like who's the Black Elon Musk? There really is nobody that comes to mind, right? But you can name 1,000 entertainers, 1,000 athletes, etc. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just peep in the chat, make sure you guys can hear everything. Okay, good. All right, so let me share my screen again, and I'm just going to show you more of I got Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C, and Exhibit D. All right, so let me show you this again, and I want you. Let's go back to my original theory. Black people are hypnotized by entertainment. Nielsen actually did a study where they were basically white people talking to other white people about ways to get black people to give you their money. And one thing they said is that black people are more influenced by entertainers than anybody else. Also, black people consume more programming than anybody else. So if you want to know why we're brainwashed, it's because you're being programmed. You're constantly being programmed by media and entertainment because you consume it more than anybody else. So you worship celebrities more than anybody else. So here you got Beyonce, a talented woman, but again, white media, put her out there. And if white folks decided they hated Beyonce, you'd never hear from her again. She's in The Lion King, which is, again, a movie made by Disney, a big white corporation. Verizon is a sponsor back here. So you kind of have sort of these sponsored black people, right? Go down here, LeBron James, great basketball player, love LeBron. But again, he plays for the Los Angeles Lakers, a team owned by white folks. He's on TV, on media outlets that are owned by white folks. If white people decided to remove him from TV and blackball him, you would know who he is. He's working with Adam Sandler. And so the griot celebrates this because they celebrate leading Negroes. They celebrate leading athletes, leading entertainers, and leading politicians. So here you've got this thing with Obama, right? About, Trump doesn't like Obama or whatever. It is what it is. I don't know what it is. So you keep going down the list, right? And there really isn't a lot here. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you'll see in black media that kind of gets replicated, the messages that get replicated amongst black people tend to be very predictable, very redundant, and also very singular in thinking. Like there's not much room for dissenting opinions. So here's a story about a poor guy. Bronx man's mother shows him no mercy after arrest for quarantine. Okay, so this fits into the standard typical Democratic Party narrative. Black people take their cues from the Democratic Party. You will rarely see situations where the black community en masse will deviate from a mandate given by the white folks who run the Democratic Party. So white folks in the Democratic Party have pretty much told you that, whatever the conservatives say about the pandemic is wrong. You're supposed to stay in your house. You're all going to die. It's very dangerous. Most people can't recite any data to support their opinion. They can't recite any statistics. All they know how to do is repeat what they saw on TV. All they know how to do is repeat whatever Rachel Maddow says or whatever Barack Obama says. And so, and I can't change this, right? I'm not powerful enough to change this. I'm not trying to change this. If you want to be, in that category, you can remain in that category. But, you kind of have, again, these preordained Negroes that are elevated by white folks whose job it is to tell black people what to do. So they've told black people, be afraid, be very afraid. You can't not be afraid. Or if you're not afraid, then you're reckless, you're stupid, you're endangering people's lives. Now they can't back that up with any data, right? Because again, black people were dying extensively. Remember back when, again, I keep bringing up, I know I brought this up before about the Lizzo thing, but I bring that up as a teachable moment, not because I care, not because I'm sensitive about what happened, but I bring it up because I find it utterly fascinating that the very same Negroes who are telling you that you should be all up in arms and scared to death because of the corona thing, those same black people were the ones who were fighting me when I said, maybe Lizzo shouldn't be mass promoting obesity to a community where millions of our people are dying from obesity and heart disease. Maybe that's not so you can't tell me. So if you tell me that, well, I'm saying all this because I care about the lives of black people, well, you a damn lie, because because when it came to the Lizzo thing, you went along with what was popular. You went along with what was white. White is right because white people love Lizzo. They love her because she represents this feminist idea that somehow body positivity means being fat as a fucking whale and shaking your jelly rolls and twerking in front of white men and simulating sucking a man's penis on TikTok. Like all these things are what white people ordain for you. And you as black people internalize that and you say, how dare you criticize Lizzo, right? We don't care that black people are dying from obesity. We don't care that Big Mama got her foot cut off. We don't care about how many black folks are getting strokes and heart disease and diabetes. All we care about is the fact that what you're saying right now does not make us feel good. And white people gave us permission to tell you that you're wrong. But then a few months later, you tell me that 10 black people died from corona, and you're mad because I'm not overwhelmed by that. It doesn't mean I don't care. It just means that, you have selective outrage that is dictated almost in a Pinocchio like fashion by the white folks who control your thinking. They control your narrative. They control the things that you're allowed to be outraged about. They give you the right to selective outrage. That's it. That's all you have. You have no rights as a black person. So anyway, let me keep going. I'm gonna share my screen again. Hit the thumbs up button. Take 1 second, please, real quick. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done it, please hit the thumbs up button. All right. So let me pull this up again. This is an Uncle Boyce rant. So I'm sorry, I got to break this down for y'all because I need y'all to really see this and understand this. So let's keep going. Let's analyze some more stories on the cover of the Griot. So here's another coronavirus pandemic exposes America's shortage of nurses, nursing resources, right? So all stories that will appear in black media pretty much are going to be pro-Democratic Party's interpretations of the coronavirus, right? That's kind of what it is, right? That's how you know people are not being honest, is when your opinion is just like everybody else in your same political party. That means that you're not an independent thinker, because there's no way that you can give me 5 independent thinkers who are all going to come to the same conclusion on 4 or 5 different issues that are controversial, where there's a lot of, mixed information out there. There's absolutely no way when there's that much information dispersion and all 5 of you have the same damn opinion. That means one is the head of the dog, the rest of y'all are the tail. So basically, the fact that all these opinions are going to be pretty much the same on the corona thing pretty much tells me that we're all sort of put in a box and we sort of stay there. Now, here's another sad story about a Brooklyn doctor, 62, who died of COVID-19. He was known as the hospital's Jay-Z. Again, this goes back to the narrative I mentioned before. Black people are typically recognized for singing, dancing, rapping, or playing a sport. So he's known as the hospital's Jay-Z. That gives him, that makes the story more touching or whatever, right? Because he's a black man. Of course he raps, right? So here we go. Let's keep going. Celebrities, celebrity worship. Let's look at how many stories center around celebrities. So we got Janelle Monáe, Michael Jordan, Beyonce, LeBron James. Okay, but this says entertainment. So let's keep going. Let's keep going down. Let's get out of the entertainment section. Griot videos. Again, remember, I told you celebrity worship. That's celebrity worship, Democratic Party alliance. Okay, so let's look at that bias here. Wendy Williams, celebrity worship. Questlove, Black Thought of the Roots, celebrity worship. Masterpiece, celebrity worship. Gilbert Arenas, basketball player. Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, Democratic Party. Karl Rove calls Obama's okay. So Karl Rove, he's Republican, therefore he's the enemy because Democrats have told us what it means to be black. So that means if you're black, you're a Democrat. If you're not a Democrat, then you're not black. I deliberately fall out of those party lines, not because I want to be a Republican, but because I don't believe that a person's blackness or their black card can be taken by a white member of the Democratic Party. I don't think you should let these white folks tell you where your black card should lie. In fact, I'm gonna try to speak for Malcolm X for a little bit here by saying that if you recall, Malcolm X, and it's his birthday, so we should honor him. Malcolm X warned you about the Democratic Party. If you recall and you listen to what Malcolm said about the Democrats back a long time ago, he basically said a lot of the same things that we say right here today on platforms like this. He basically said those people are using you, they're screwing you, they don't care about you, they don't like you, they're not going to stand up for you, they don't share resources with you, they don't respect you. And for some reason, a lot of us never got the memo, maybe because, again, the programming through media, that's what it is. Now, I want to give an acknowledgement real quick. I want to say thank you, Terrell. Terrell says, Dr. Boyce, I started buying stocks at Cash App. Would it be smart if I keep putting $100 a week of buying stocks on Cash App? Terrell, I'm not going to really talk about stock market stuff right now. If you're interested in learning more, we are going to do a black stock market challenge in about 5 days. So you can join that for free if you'd like, or if you want to get started even sooner, I have a program you can join for just $1 for the first month. It's theblackstockmarketprogram.com, THE. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Or if you're more advanced and you want to join my masterclass meets every Wednesday night. We meet tomorrow night, so you can go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. So feel free to check that out. We meet tomorrow night. Okay, so let me keep going. Let me dig down here and show you. Okay, so here's another one. Missouri officers accused of assaulting black woman's son. So police brutality. This is an important issue, right? We know police brutality is an issue. We know that it needs to stop, but understand that police killings is like the number 6 reason that black people die. If you look at causes of death of black men, I think police brutality is like number 6 on the list. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. It just means that sometimes what happens is the media will grab one topic and inflate that topic, and you'll think that that's the biggest thing in the world. In fact, most of you, though, probably don't know. The vast majority, in fact, I'll do a little test real quick. I'm not at all minimizing police shootings at all, but I want to ask you this: how many of you have an immediate relative in your immediate family, brother, sister, mother, father, child, who has been murdered by police? Yes or no? Yes. I'm not talking about somebody, where your baby mama's cousin, or your daddy's child's, brother-in-law. I'm talking about immediate family, mother, father, sister, brother, um, anybody in that immediate family. Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. I'm not minimizing it. I'm making a point here. Give me a yes or no. Just answer honestly. Okay. Law says my uncle. Okay, I'll give you uncle. Uncle wasn't on the list. Uncles, but that's still pretty close. So I get that. And I'm not even in any way saying that that's not important. I'm not saying that death does not matter. I want to make sure that that's not misinterpreted. Okay, so you're answering the question. Okay, give me a yes or no if anybody in your immediate family, mother, father, sister, brother, child, has been killed by the police. Okay, Jack says, thank God, none. Okay, now why do I say that? Now, see, Marie says nephew. I'm sorry about your nephew. Again, that's outside of the range I was mentioning, but it's still nephew, uncle. We'll count that too. Okay, why do I bring that up? Well, because sometimes what happens is that when white folks decide to pick a topic, y'all follow in lockstep a little bit too much. I believe that we should be defining the topics that matter to us. So if you're talking about saving Black lives, let me do a Google search real quick, and I'm going to look up. Let's start with Black men, since we talk about Black men being shot by the police, right? So let's say causes of death for Black males. Okay, so let's look. Leading causes of death for non-Hispanic males, Centers for Disease Control. All right. Okay, so let me, and I'm literally like pulling this list up. So I want you to look at this list. This is for critical thinkers. This is not for, brainwashed, pre-programmed people. I don't work well with stupid people. This is for people that either are intelligent or want to be more intelligent. They want to actually know facts. They want to actually think for themselves. That's what I encourage. I don't encourage bandwagon bullshit. So here's leading causes of death, according to the Centers for Disease Control, non-Hispanic Black males, all ages. Number one, heart disease. Boom. 23.7%. Heart disease is number one. Cancer, number two. Unintentional injuries, number three. Don't know what that means. Homicide, number four. Now, let me ask you that question again. I asked you how many of you have had an immediate relative shot by the cops. Now I'm going to ask you a different question. How many of you have had an immediate relative who was shot by another brother and killed by another brother? How many of y'all, and I'm not talking about this, we're not talking about black on black and all that. We can debate that later. But how many of you have had a relative in your family, mother, father, sister, brother, child, who has been killed by another Black person? Look at that. I'm seeing more yeses now. Frank and Moon, Black Moon Sage. Okay. I'm going to guess that I'll see about 20% yeses, 80% no's. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of no's. Okay. Monica and Ryan, and okay, my cousin was shot and killed by the cops. Okay. Okay. I see Linda Parker says yes, yes. Okay. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, because when we're focusing all of our energy on corona death and focusing all of our energy on police death, what are you missing when you do that? Well, you're missing the vast majority of all the death that kills Black people. You're missing heart disease. Maybe instead of just protesting the local police department, you can go protest that motherfucking Popeye's chicken location that's in every neighborhood in every Black community. Maybe instead of cheering on Lizzo telling millions of Black women that it's wonderful to be as fat as you can possibly be, maybe you can say, you know what? We love Black women. Y'all carry your curves better than anybody else. But we love you enough to say to men and women, all of us, that we got to do better. We got to eat better as a community. Maybe we won't drop dead from corona as fast if we work on our immune systems, if we commit ourselves to some sort of physical fitness, something that will keep us from sitting around doing nothing except waiting to die, right? Cancer, there's a lot of conversation about cancer. I'd love to see more research on cancer, since that's a bigger cause of death, particularly amongst Black males. Unintentional injuries, I don't know if it's car crashes or what. Homicide. We know that's a problem in a lot of places. Most of my homeboys that got shot, not one of them got shot by the cops, but I can name a lot of brothers who got shot by other brothers. So, you know, I don't like cops, but I don't like black men who kill black men either. Y'all just as bad as a fucking cop. You're just as bad as a Klansman. Stroke. That goes back to that Lizzo conversation that we had last 2 months ago, where everybody wanted to try to make it into this stupid political thing, like, oh, the black man, this black man, Professor Watkins is attacking Lizzo. No, I'm not attacking Lizzo. I'm attacking the things that are killing us as black people. Stroke, diabetes. These are all factors. These are all pre-existing conditions that are killing you during the corona crisis. So the reason that you don't solve problems in your community, the reason that black people can't really sort of figure out why things just don't come together and why things aren't working, a lot of it is because, number one, you're very reactive. You're not proactive. Proactive means you're guiding the conversation. It means you're choosing the narrative. Reactive means that you're responding to whatever somebody else tells you to respond to. So white folks have told you that you should get outraged about corona because they're trying to win an election. They don't really care about you. They're not doing all this because they just suddenly care about black people dying. Because if that were the case, then they would go to the situations that are killing the most black people, right? But then also the police thing. Again, that's another trigger point. They know black people react more than anybody else, so they love to poke your triggers. They love to poke your triggers. That's why they have these state of emergency panels where they get leading black people from like CNN, like the Van Joneses and stuff like that, to have these town halls about all the black folks that are dying from corona. And I'm like, well, why don't we go back to the Lizzo debate and talk about all the far higher number of black people dying from all kinds of pre-existing conditions that are coming from the fact that we're not encouraging ourselves to eat healthy or exercise. It seems to me like if you're really trying to save black lives, you're going to go to where black people are dying. You're not just going to sort of pick your pet projects and sort of sit there, right? Again, this is going to go over a lot of people's heads. Most people aren't smart enough to understand this, but those who are smart enough to get this, I want you to hear what I'm saying. So let's keep going. What else is killing black folks or black men? Diabetes, chronic lower respiratory diseases. Number 8 is kidney disease. 9, septicemia, I guess that's where you get sepsis, I guess, and hypertension. So if you want to know what's killing black men, here's the list. There's the list. Now let's go back to the original premise. You know, one of the things that I think we have to sort of consider, and this is one of the reasons why I keep saying that black people have to actually own our own media, is that there are a lot of people that are really just kind of manipulating you and playing with your head. You know, there are a lot of people that they will use you and trigger you, you know, to get your vote or to get your money. Typically, those are going to be the two things. Those are two things you possess that people want, and then also your talent, your talent, your culture, right? So if you think about the top 3 things that black people are used for, they want to get your vote so they can win their election, so they can ignore you and do whatever they want to do. They want to get your money because they know you're sitting on 1.3 trillion and you don't know how powerful that is, so you kind of give it away. Right. And they also want your culture. They want your culture and your athletes. Right. So you got the best music in the world. You've got the best athletes in the world. And they love to extract all that and not compensate, you know, anybody properly, or they love to cherry pick. They love to do a Jackie Robinson on you on a regular basis. What do I mean by Jackie Robinson? Well, if you recall, we had the whole Negro leagues that was feeding the whole hood, that was feeding everybody in the community, feeding the masses, feeding thousands of people, supporting thousands of businesses. So they came in, they said, look, we don't want all these Negroes. We can't sustain all these Negroes in our community. We don't want all these Negroes in our space. We can't take all these black baseball players in our league, but we'll cherry pick the very best ones and leave you with the garbage. Right, leave you with the waste. And that's what they've been doing, you know, ever since. You know, so they'll cherry pick the Obamas and pull them away and then leave the whole community to just whittle away and die. Or they'll cherry pick, you know, whether it's a Michael Jordan or a Beyonce type person, and cherry pick them, and then they'll leave, you know, sort of the garbage to you, right? And I personally think that we have to sort of start really thinking about that in terms of, you know, why is it that black people have so much but you end up with so little? You know, if you think about just all the different ways in terms of the manipulation, how basically as a black person, you will not win when you commit yourself to white supremacy at an early age. You will not win if you commit yourself to white supremacy at an early age. That starts with the mass consumption of white owned education, the mass consumption of white owned media, because basically you get to the point where you really believe that acceptance from whites, that being acknowledged by whites, that getting opportunities from whites is your key to your salvation. That's why it's much harder to convince black folks to go start a business than it is to convince them to go apply for a job. That's why you've got 400,000 little black boys who could be engineers, could be business owners, but instead they all want to be in the NBA or the NFL. All of them are lining up to knock at the white man's door for an opportunity that does not exist for 99.9% of them. And so what happens is, again, they do the Jackie Robinson. They'll cherry pick, they'll grab your little superstars, pull them away. Next thing you know, he's got a white agent, a white manager, a white lawyer, and a white wife, right? Left the black woman behind. They made $100 million, gave it all to a white woman. And then on top of that, all the people he's paying, are from other communities. They're not from his own community. Has built no infrastructure in his community, hasn't created a job anywhere in the black community. And somehow, but then because you're overcommitted, because you too are a white supremacist, you will still celebrate that Negro because white folks put him on TV. Like, you'll celebrate him without at any point loving yourself enough to say, what exactly has he really done for us or for anybody that matters that's actually worth celebrating, other than getting white folks to put him on TV, right? You could take the biggest idiot on the earth, and if you put him on TV, then black folks will look up to him and literally say, "You're my hero. I admire you. You're an inspiration." For what? What are you? What is he inspiring you? What is inspirational about somebody being on TV because white folks put him there? There's nothing inspirational about that. So I want you to go back to the basics. If anybody wants to know what my talking points would be or my call to action would be in terms of encouraging you to modify your thinking a little bit, is I need you to really think about who your real heroes are. And I think your real heroes should be people who made a real sacrifice for the community, like who are really in the trenches right there, the folks who will show up when you need them the most, whatever that means for you. Who are the people that are going to show up when you need a job? Who are the people that are going to show up when there's an issue that happens that you care about and you need somebody to use their platform to advocate on this issue, right? Who's going to show up when it's really time to support and defend the community on any level, right? Who's willing to piss off some white folks to really stand up for what black people actually deserve? If you want to know where my short list is, I think about people like Dr. Claude Anderson. When I talk to Dr. Claude Anderson, I swear to God, I talk to this man in private, in public. All he talks about is black people and doing what's best for black people, getting opportunities for black people, building something strong for black people. And as a result, he's rejected by 99% of the Negroes that you see on TV. Those Negroes on TV, Obama on down, won't even have a conversation with a man who loves black people. If you are a black person on TV and you won't even have a conversation or even acknowledge a black man who loves black people that as much as a Dr. Claude Anderson, then how can I conclude that you love black people too? I don't know how to reconcile that. What is it about this man that makes him so toxic to you that you can't even talk to him? Oh, I get it. It's because he's holding your boss accountable. Your bosses are white folks and you're scared to death of anybody that truly challenges what white folks have done and continue to do, to the black community to try to slow us down and hold us back. Who else goes to bat for black folks? Malcolm X. Today's May 19th, Malcolm X's birthday. I feel that it's part of my obligation to do everything in my power to connect to the spirit of Malcolm and to speak on behalf of Malcolm and to partially continue the work that Malcolm began many years ago. So actually, if you hear many of the messages that I share with you about black independence, black wealth building, about not trusting the Democrats, about building your own community, Malcolm said a lot of the same things. So, and I relate to Malcolm because I relate to a lot of the brothers in the Nation of Islam, because that goes to my next point. Who else is down for the black folks? Really down for black people. I'm talking about really willing to be there when nobody else is there. Who are down for black people when it ain't easy. Who are down for black people when it ain't profitable. Who are down for black people when it's costly, when it's deadly, when it's extremely expensive. The Nation of Islam is one organization that you have where they will go out and they will take a bullet for black people. You got black people. Most black people will not take a bullet for black people. Most black people are scared to go outside during the coronavirus because they think that somebody might sneeze in their direction. Seriously, the Nation of Islam, those brothers will go take a bullet for you. You don't have too much of that in your community. You just don't. They'll go to parts of Chicago that the police won't even go to. Who else is down for your community? You have Marcus Garvey. I don't understand at all why your children don't know about Marcus Garvey before they know about any white person ever. Like literally, your children should have a list of maybe 5 or 6 black people that they know about before they ever learn about a single white person anywhere. Seriously, they like literally. I'm saying to some, maybe you can call me a black supremacist for saying this. I don't know what that. I'm a black preferencist. How about that? Not a black supremacist. I don't want to get into supremacy, but I'm a black preferencist, meaning that's where the center of my universe begins. So if I'm raising a child, I'm gonna have a list of a bunch of black folks. I'm gonna get it might be people like somebody like Amos Wilson, who loved you enough to write a whole blueprint for Black Power that most motherfuckers ain't even read this shit. Most black folks ain't took time to read it. But you got Negroes on TV that will go read War and Peace and be like, oh, I read. Do you know Lee Daniels from the show Empire? Literally, this Negro literally said his children have read Mein Kampf 3 times. Not Mein Kampf, I'm sorry. The Diary of Anne Frank. That's what it was, the Diary of Anne Frank. And that's fine. I mean, that's why he does well in Hollywood, because he understands what the Jewish community wants, because they put themselves first. Well, I'm just trying to tell you that, you've got probably a list of at least 200 black people who sacrificed it all, in a fearless and relentless way, who your children should know about before they ever know about a single white person ever. And so I think it starts with really deconstructing all of this. I think it starts with thinking about who's educating your children. I think it starts with you sort of really understanding like what strong independent blackness really looks like. You have to respect that. Stop making fun of that. Stop making fun of black people who are doing their best to, get off the grid, get off the plantation. Like, at least hear out those other ideas, because as silly as you might think a black person looks when he says, me and my children are starting our own business and we're going to go get a farm and grow our own food and I homeschool my kids. You might make fun of that. You might, because I see people make fun of that all the time. But actually they actually could be making fun of you, because they're looking at you like, your kids are coming out of school half stupid. They're going to college, to these fancy universities that are robbing them blind. They end up in so much debt that they become sharecroppers. They never get out of debt for the rest of their life. They spend their lives as part of the angry black middle class, these Negroes that really think they're going to get ahead because white folks are going to give them enough opportunities, but really they sit around becoming alcoholics because all they do is sit around, drinking liquor, complaining about microaggressions and the way they're treated at work, right? If you ever want to have a long conversation with a corporate Negro, just say something. Let's start it off with something like, let me tell you about these white people at my job, right? So all they really have learned how to do is sit there and complain about the fact that they're dependent, complain about the fact that they're not getting opportunities, complain about the fact that they're not invited to the table. Well, you got people out here that say, we should probably build a table. Let's build a table. Why are you such a white supremacist that you spend your life begging and pleading and hoping and wishing for an opportunity to sit at his table? What is so special about his goddamn table that you're going to spend your whole life trying to get a chance to sit at that table? And then the next thing you know, you're so happy to sit at the table that you'll be sitting next to a liar, a rapist, a murderer, a racist piece of shit. You'll be sitting next to the biggest asshole on earth, but you'll be honored that they invited you to sit at the table. Do you know how many Negroes on TV? Do you know how many times Michelle Obama and other people were bragging about the fact that they were friends with Harvey Weinstein? Like literally, Harvey Weinstein, people knew he was disgusting. People knew what kind of man he was. People knew he was a dirty ass. He looks like Jabba the Hutt, from Star Wars. If you ever watch Star Wars, Harvey Weinstein is a disgusting. I mean, he looks disgusting. It's not that he just is disgusting. He's as disgusting as he looks. But you had black folks, Oprah, there's pictures of Oprah kissing him on the cheek. Why? Why are you excited about being around this disgusting man? Oh, I get it. Because you're a white supremacist too. And you somehow feel that because he invited you to sit at his table, that somehow you're now a better person. When the reality is that maybe you should have had enough self-esteem to say, I really don't care how many movies you made. I don't care how much money you got in your bank account. I don't care how many white people love you. I don't want to sit at your table because you gross me out. You're a bad person, and you're nasty as hell, and you're out here doing crazy stuff to women. I don't want to be near that. But they've taught you from an early age that white is right, especially if they're white, rich, and famous. If they're white, rich, and famous, then you put aside all your ethical issues and you want to sit right next to that person. That's why to this day, you got 1,000 rappers out here that were writing raps about how much they wanted to be like Donald Trump. Like seriously, they could talk all day about, well, Trump this and Trump that. Okay, go back to like 2005 or 1997 when these guys were all rapping about Donald Trump, taking pictures with Donald Trump. Some of your civil rights leaders were taking pictures with Donald Trump. Come on, man. It's silly. It's all silly. So figure out who you are, and stick with that, and stop letting these people push you around in different directions. Like you have to get a solid base. You need a spiritual and psychological base. You also need an economic base. When you have a base, think about this. The wind is blowing every direction. And if you're a leaf with no base, you're going to blow wherever the wind blows. Wherever if the wind blows east, you're going to go east. The wind blows west, you're going to go west. That's most black folks. Most black folks are like leaves blowing in the wind. Whatever Democratic white people tell us to care about, we start caring about it, right? They start caring, to talk about transgender. We suddenly, next thing you know, you go to the Griot website. I think down, if you go further down, there's like a story about, Billy Porter, or one of those guys that likes to wear dresses on TV, right? Because again, you're getting these cues from white folks, right? So most black people are like the leaves blowing in the wind. They just blow wherever the Democratic Party tells them to blow, whatever mainstream media tells them to blow. A person with a base is like a person who's standing in the wind, but you have concrete blocks locking you into your position, right? So you put concrete around your feet, so you're stuck where you are. So when the wind blows, you might get hit by the wind a little bit, but you're not going to move. You're not moving. The wind's going to have to go around you because you're firm in who you are and where you stand. And that's one thing. If you've noticed, if you followed me for many, many years, some of you have been following me for years, give me a yes or no in the chat if you agree with this. One thing I've always tried to do is be very clear and very firm about who I am, and I'm not changing who I am no matter what. You might think I'm great. Well, if you think I'm great, then I've always been great. If you think I'm an asshole, then I've always been an asshole. But I'm firm and clear about that because I got tired of people constantly trying to tell me who to be and what to do. So don't let anybody tell you who to be and what to do. Part of liberation is self-discovery. And once you discover yourself, you need to run up to yourself, give yourself a big hug, and never let go. Stop letting these people change who you are just so you can go fit in. That is a pathway to insanity and extreme unhappiness. And that's where a lot of our people are. They just run around chasing their own tail, trying to get an opportunity, trying to get somebody to like them, trying to get acceptance. And then when they don't get it, they whining like little bitches, like, oh, they don't like us. Oh, they don't care about, oh, they don't give us no opportunities. Oh, they don't owe you nothing. They don't like you. They've been telling you that for 200-300 years. Get it through your thick head. They don't like you. And you don't like yourself. You like an idiot in a bad relationship. Some dude that's chasing around some girl that's using him and playing him and bringing other men in front of him and disrespecting him. And he's like, baby, I'm sorry. I got you 2 orders. I got you 2 sets of flowers instead of one. You showing up buying a Mercedes Benz and all this other stuff because you're trying to get this girl to love you, and she don't like you. She don't respect you. And the problem is not with her. The problem is with you, because she's consistently sending you a signal to say, look, get out of my face. Why are you here? I don't like you, right? And she's being ruder and ruder to you to help you understand how little she likes you. And so you can't really blame her. You got to blame yourself. You have to blame yourself because you're not seeing value in who you are. That's why you're running up behind some raggedy bitch begging for her attention when you can find you a real woman who's going to love you for who you are. So black folks, stop running up behind raggedy, racist, nasty ass, ridiculous, horrible, ignorant ass people, begging them for acceptance. Instead, go where you're wanted, go where you're loved, and start by loving yourself. Okay. So that's my thought for today. I'm out of here, guys. I'm about to go. Do me a favor if you could. Please hit that thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button. Also, we'll do the Black Stock Market Challenge starting on the 25th. I'll let you guys know when that's going to happen. Also, Black Movie Night is in a couple of days. So if you'd like to join us for Black Movie Night, you can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. And also, sometimes people ask me about this, and I don't mention it much, but I'll mention it. I actually do have like a whole kind of coaching thing on, goal setting, time management, motivation, overcoming obstacles, dealing with haters, stuff like that. It's called Black Keys to Greatness. So if you're interested, I think the first month is free, or it's like $1 or something. So feel free to go check it out at blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Take care. It was nice talking to you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.